Time to warm these tires up after sitting all winter. Welcome back, guys, and today we're working on another one of my many, possibly even borderline uncountable mistakes, and brought my 83 Suburban into the garage because I'm not smart. And this thing needed a clutch a while back, like last September. So I went out into my shed and I grabbed the clutch and flywheel that I had sitting on the shelf. I figured, all right, it's all Chevy parts. They all bolt together. It'll be great. Turns out it wasn't, and I ended up putting a big block flywheel on this 350 in here. And they don't like that because the internal versus the external balance on a 350 versus a 454. So first time I fired it up, it's trying to break the crank, basically. I mean, that's a simple way to put it. It shakes and wobbles and it's not happy. And I didn't want to drop the transmission again to fix it. So this thing has been sitting in the yard for, it's February now, 5 months, I guess. And I think it's about time to fix it, especially since we're waiting on parts for the other truck, and I think I've done enough videos on that for now, at least, until the parts to actually fix it and give it a satisfying end to a video come in. So, yeah, that's pretty much the deal. It's nothing really special of a truck. It's 83 Suburban, rusty turd. It sat in an airplane hangar for 12 years before I got it. Had 2011 tabs. I bought it in 2022, so yeah, sat 11 years in an airplane hangar without running. I brought it home and threw a carburetor on it, fuel pump. I ended up putting a fuel tank in it. Basically just new fuel system, and it ran really good, and I drove it around. It was all stock when I got it. Drove it everywhere. It's a 350 factory 4-speed, which is neat. It was a 208 transfer case. Got it swapped out to a 205 at the same time I was doing the clutch job. So yeah, now I got a different 4-speed MP205, full floater 14 bolt in the rear, 44 big hub in the front, 37-inch military surplus Humvee tires on wagon wheels, Moose Killer bumper, because you got to have that. If you don't have a giant massive bumper, what are you even doing with your life? And hidden winch mount behind the bumper that I added on, well, with some help from my buddy Brady, who's a much better welder than I am. Yeah, 12,000 pound Badlands winch. It's got dual bench seats, no third row. It doesn't even have the hooks for the third row, so that's kind of neat and interesting. Super mint interior, actually, before I started tearing into it. Not a single crack in this factory dash. I assume from being parked inside for so long. I'm going to have to show you guys the interior because it's 90% of the reason I bought this truck when I did. Just because I've never seen one so nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much the overview of it. And I don't know, probably get to work tearing it apart. Well, I don't really know if I'm doing an instructional video or not, or what this actually is going to turn out to be. But we got the drive shaft out, brand new fancy thing that's got like 5 miles on it, and then the truck sat because the problem with the motor. So, drive shaft's pulled. Next thing we're going to do is pull the shifters off of the transfer case and transmission. Luckily, I never put my flooring back in after I pulled the tunnel the last time, so that's in the back and out of our way. But this is what I was talking about with the mint interior on this thing. I mean, the seat's not torn or stained or anything. Steering wheel's nice. All the gauges work. And it's a Canadian truck, so it has metric speedometer. Well, not quite metric, but metric odometer. It counts kilometers. If you look, it's actually a 6-digit odometer, which that didn't exist in square bodies before I bought this truck. I didn't know that was a thing. Metric oil pressure gauge, Celsius for your temperature. Volts are still the same, apparently. But look at this dash pad. It's just perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, that was worth the price of admission alone on this truck. I've never seen one like that. It's so nice that I actually went and got the stupid 90s sunshade for the windshield just to keep it nice. But I got sidetracked. So, yeah, we got to get the shifters out and take this tunnel out, because this that's sticking up is going to have to slide back to about there so we can get the input shaft out of the clutch and out of the bell housing and drop the transmission out. So that's 4 bolts holding that boot on, like 6 screws. We'll undo all these bolts and we'll pull all that out. There's a pivot bolt and then like a cotter pin that you got to take out to get the transfer case shifter off. And then this is just like a locking collar you push down and unscrew. So we'll get all the shifters out and the tunnel opened up, and then after that we can start working on unhooking the transmission from the engine. Okay, so shifters are out, and I can show you this is the reason we have to take half the damn interior apart and take the tunnel out, is because the shift tower on the SM465 is 40 miles tall, and it goes inside the cab. So with this out of here, that will be able to slide all the way back there, ideally, and then drop right out of our clutch. Would you look at that? There's just so much more room for activities now. Like, it's way more gooder. I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, and if you were skilled enough, you'd probably rebuild the transmission with it still in the truck. Like, just take that top plate off and do whatever you need to inside there. Mint! Okay, well, we are to the point where I've got all the bolts holding the transmission to the bell housing off, all 4 of those. And now all I have left is the 4 bolts holding the cross member on. And this should be ready to slide back and drop down. Yep, just as expected. We are maxed out on the jack, and we got like over half a foot to go. I mean, that's a lot. So we're going to play everyone's favorite game of stack a bunch of wood on top of the jack and try not to die. Okay, the wood blocks are stacked and we're strapped up. And I know it looks bad, but really it's safe because the strap is orange for high visibility. So that basically counts as PPE. But we're going to put you on the tripod and you guys can watch and call 911 if I die, even though this is going to be pre-recorded and the video obviously won't get posted if I do. But it's the thought that counts. So we'll let you watch as I pull these bolts and probably drop 450-ish pounds of transmission and transfer case directly on my chest cavity. All right, time to bring the violence. The big Milwaukee, because if you're not breaking things, you're not trying. This is the wrong size wrench. The right size wrench is on the bolts in the frame, because why wouldn't it be? All right, here goes nothing. Ah, what the hell? Ah, rust in my eye. All right, redo this. There we go. Get on the right torque setting. And that's 1 down. Oh, 2 down, because I did 1 off camera. Those are going to require a hammer. They're under a lot of tension. But we'll worry about that in a second. We'll get these other bolts and see what happens. This is where it's going to drop, is when I do this side, if it drops. Which it might. But it probably won't. I hope it won't. Okay. That bolt actually came loose, which is what they're supposed to do. I don't know where the nut or the lock washer went, but oh, it's on the washer. It's on top of me. Okay. Get my daily dose of iron eating all these rust particles. God, I should live in Arizona. if you scream, the impact makes more power. It's science. This bolt is also stuck. So, the fact that we have all these bolts stuck, tell me it might get exciting when we knock them out. So, we'll get a hammer and get right back to you. Okay, new camera angle, so hopefully you guys are less in the way as I'm doing this. So I'd really hate to kick that camera and knock it over and just give you a sideways view of nothing. Okay. This side's kind of dropping on its own. We got one bolt still kind of hanging up. Take the tension off of that. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Scientifically, mathematically, hypothetically, potentially, we should be good to go. Let's just see if I can lift that up a little more and just hurt myself pulling backwards. See, this is where the creeper comes in handy because I'm using my whole body as a slide hammer and then I'm just using my elbow joint as like a damper. I won't regret this in 40 years. Let's see if we're even moving. I doubt it. All right, here's what I'm talking about. See, you can't even tell what's going on. All right, so see, we got a little bit of an air gap. That is perfect because now I can quit hurting myself. We just get a pry bar in there, and look at that. Super duper easy. God, if I could hold a camera and a flashlight at the same time, maybe if I owned a camera with a flash, that'd probably be smarter than doing this. But look at that. We got plenty of gap, and actually the angle's all messed up, so I think we're going to have to lower the jack a bit, and we'll keep sliding it backwards, and then we can get to what we're really here for. Okay, we're hung up on something, and I don't know what, so, I mean, it's probably just a little rock or something on the floor, probably. But I don't know what it is, so instead of investigating, we're going to go straight to my old friend Mechanical Advantage, and we got the come along hooked to the little carry handle on the jack, and then wrapped around the rear axle, and I got a wheel stuck in the floor drain. But yeah, we're just going to start pulling and see why. Okay, nope, that's doing bad things. We're going to have to actually do it right. That's well, I wanted to try and get it on video, but what actually ended up being the problem was the transmission and the engine weren't quite in line. They were bound up sideways like that. So we put the jack under it and took a little weight off the front. Back came down, and it just popped right apart. It took like a second. I didn't have a chance to get the camera rolling. But we're free now, and we're going to suck that back a little more with the winch, because, well, yeah, the hand winch, because it's already hooked up. Then we'll set it down, and then we can do the fun part. The heavy part. Well, actually, it's not any heavier than the first part. It just requires me to actually lift things instead of relying on my old friend, the jack. So, we're free now. Let's see, let's get this yellow jack out of the way. Get everything out of the way. That's the problem working underneath vehicles on a creeper, is there's just never enough room. Okay, and this is gonna... Yep, that's catching my e-brake a little bit. And I lost my dang pry bar. Where did I put that? Over here. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. Now it should come down nice and smooth. Gentle, gentle, faster but smoother but gentler, whatever that other guy says. And we're caught in the bell housing, which means we pull it back a little further, but that also means we catch on the e-brake way more. See if we can't unhook the e-brake cable and just let the chaos sort itself out. Okay. That was a lot of movement for me not doing a lot of clicking. Down, 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 down. Okay. Oh, the jack's rolling. Action. Oh, shit. We're going to tip the jack over. It's not well balanced right now. But it's fine as long as it tips over close to the ground. Because now we're at a point where we're not going to hurt the truck. We'll just hurt the floor. And the floor is of no concern to me in this particular moment. What is my concern is getting this stupid transmission out from under the truck and out of my way so I can do the rest of my job. Oh, and remember how I was talking about how this jack has the sweet built-in jack stand feature. It's nice until it clicks on automatically while you're trying to lower things, and then you can't. All right, look at that. Just the weight of my arm is enough to balance this. So, well, we can't slide it any further back because I put the ratchet strap in the wrong spot. This is a comedy of errors. I'll let this dipshit run the smart end of a wrench. Whoa! Come on. Come on, don't hurt myself. And defeats the whole trip. There we go. It's wedged against the bottom of the frame currently, and I have enough room to get to the clutch and bell housing, so we'll just leave it right here halfway tipped over, and then come back to it later. Alright, if I can do this without getting in the way of the camera, here is what we are here for. Bell housing is separated from the transmission. We need to take out 1, 2, I think it's 7 bolts, and then this will come off, then we can take the clutch off, then we can take the flywheel off. So, alright, so at this point we have our bell housing removed. It's down there somewhere. There it is. Okay, and now we're at the clutch. We have 6 bolts to remove here. That just pops right off. We got the little impact for that, and I think this is actually easier to do from inside the cab because you have a nice cushy seat to lay on. I mean, and then you just lay them right on the floor. Alright, I'm going to need 2 hands and just, I'm actually going to need my right hand for this. But you get the point. Take the bolts out, the thing falls apart. Simple. Simple is simple as. Okay, we got our clutch removed, and I don't recommend doing what I just did, which is unbolting the pressure plate here and forgetting about the clutch disc, because I unbolted that. That just fell and hit the concrete. Probably not good for it, but I think we're still going to run it because it's brand new anyway. But yeah, if you have your clutch alignment tool, you should probably stick it in there, and that'll kind of hold everything together when you take this apart. But whatever. Already dropped it. Too late to cry about it. So now we just take off 6 more bolts, and that's where we need to be. Okay, we got our flywheel out, and side by side you can tell the difference that I didn't know about. And the difference is right here. That big chunk of weight, which is missing on this one. Because this is for a 454, which is an externally balanced engine. So it needs that big piece of weight to help counteract the forces of many dozens of explosions happening inside of the motor all the time. This is for a 350, which is an internally balanced motor, which means there's things happening inside. There's the crankshaft itself either has weights put onto it or holes drilled into it to lighten it. And that's what keeps the motor spinning properly without shaking itself apart. So that little extra weight spinning around really throws things out of whack. This will be much better. But I don't know, we might go to the auto parts store and get some seals for this thing because it is garbage. I mean, a guy might as well do the oil pan seal while I'm here. It appears to be leaking pretty significantly. So we should do that when we have the time and when it's already apart. Well, we're back on the Suburban this morning. I went to bed last night. And I thought about it. Put a decent amount of thinking, and I figured this oil leak is not actively leaving any drips on my floor, so we're not going to worry about it. We can fix that at a later date, or never at all. So we're just going to slam this back together, and I'm doing two things that I rarely ever do on this, which is actually using proper torque specs with the clicky-clack wrench, and I got Loctite on those bolts because I don't want to do this a third time. 2 is already too many. Alright, well we got our flywheel all torqued up and locked down. So the rest of this is really just the reverse of what we did yesterday. I just take the clutch with the handy dandy clutch alignment tool. Just stab it in there. Make sure you put the right side of the clutch facing the right direction. It's labeled flywheel side right there. Stab it in. Slide it together so it's all nice and butted up. And then we throw the pressure plate on and okay, this is going to be weird to install from this angle. I think we're going to do this one from under the truck. Okay, clutch is all assembled, bell housing's on. I got the throwout bearing jammed in there. But, yeah, the wood tipped over on the jack. And now I have to try and lift this stupid, heavy piece of cast iron that's bolted to another piece of cast iron with a piece of cast iron in between onto that jack. While it's under the truck, because once it's on the jack, it won't fit under the frame rail of the truck. So things are going great. Also, there was a casualty when that fell. My brand new fancy big wheel creeper. Ripped. Damn it. Well, these things weigh 40 billion tons, so it's been a struggle, but I think I got a way where I'm going to be able to get all my wood blocks back underneath this like I need them to be. Because if we just lift this up a little more, I mean, it's only barely holding on that back block, but it's fine. I think I'll be able to get my other big block over there that's being blinded by the light underneath the front, and that should hold it flat again. I really wish I could get it further back on the jack for center of gravity reasons, but I don't know if that's going to happen. One way or another, we're getting this transmission onto that motor, though. Well, I guess I lied because that didn't work at all. Damn, this thing is heavy. Why could they not just build it with flat on the bottom? Flat would be good, not that shape. All right, well, it took 2 jacks and 4 hands. Oh, you can't even see the other set of hands. Oh, I had to get some help, but 2 jacks and a Jenga tower, and I think we're going to get this in if I can Tokyo drift that jack forwards while this one's rolling. We'll see how it goes. Took a lot of fighting, but transmission is in place. I got a couple more bolts to tighten up there. I got to put these bolts in, and then we'll put the drive shaft on, and then hopefully we'll be rolling out of the shop. I had to have a buddy of mine come by and help me out because these things are heavy. But yeah, with the 2 of us and a bunch of ratchet straps and a little bit of swearing, we got it in place. So on to the next step. Okay, we're all buttoned up here, reassembled. Didn't really seem worth filming when you saw me take it all apart. It's just play the video in reverse if you really care to see what the reassembly goes like. But yeah, we're ready to fire it up and see just if and how much better it runs, which as I'm saying this, I'm now realizing I didn't have a video of it running before, so you have to take my word for it, but it ran terrible because of that big extra weight on the old, well, you can't see it, I'm pointing at things that are off screen, but because of that extra weight on the old flywheel, it sounded like one of the big hot rod pulling tractors when it was running, because you could actually feel that weight swing around every turn and go, whoa, 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 you know, just shaking the whole truck and lumping and loping, and it was not happy. And I really didn't want it to run a whole lot to get video of that. But it ran really bad, so we're going to fire it up and we'll see if it runs maybe kind of bad. I'd be happy with kind of bad. Good would be ideal, but I don't own things that run good. That's not my style. I like rusty things that run bad. Not terrible, but bad is good enough for a guy like me. So, we'll hop in, we'll fire it up, and you guys can listen just the same as I do. See if she's idling good and running good. Alright. Huh. Probably should figure out a catchphrase for when I fire things up. I don't know. Ride the lightning? No. Can't be bring the thunder, that's already taken. Contact, that's taken. I mean, everybody has a catchphrase when they start things up. We're going to have to go with no catchphrase this time, and I'll try and figure one out for next time. And of course the battery's low. Why would I have a charged battery? Oh, great. Okay, technical difficulties. We'll get the jump pack and be right back to you. Jump pack engaged. Time for take 2. But fired up pretty good. It's idle and nice. Sounds reasonably happy to me. I'm going to call that a win. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, but there's always something to work on around here. didn't see you there. This video was supposed to be over, but I decided to bring a truck up to my buddies here at HD Diesel in Kenyon and show off the truck running again after it's been sitting for God knows how long. And turns out when you let things sit for 5 months in the wet season, your brakes kind of get rusty and they stick. And that's what happened. I got stuck front brakes. So we're going to take it apart and hopefully just oil up the slides and clean the rotors off with a flat disc maybe. Slam it all back together and hopefully it rolls again. So we'll get these wheels off and get going. Well, there's a quick interruption from your time lapse to show you what we found. Get the wheel off, and the wear parts of the brakes are actually in pretty good shape. We got decent pads. Just looks like it's been in the bottom of the ocean since 1992. So our slide pins were pretty rusted. This one I haven't touched yet. You can kind of see it's in sad shape. I took the other one out and cleaned it up a bit on the bench grinder. And focus. Come on. Alright, 1 second here. I mean, I wouldn't say there's significant pitting, but it's definitely not insignificant pitting. She's pretty pitted up, but really the only wear surface is like here and there. So I think now that this is cleaned up and actually broke loose, it should be fine. We're going to put it back together and run it, and if they still don't work, then I guess we'll do a brake job on here, but I think this will be just fine. So we'll give the other 3 bolts, the extra one on this side and then the 2 over there, the same treatment, and I think we'll be good to go. Oh, we also took the little bore brush and cleaned out those holes too with brass bristles. So that should be good, and we'll see what happens. We'll put you back on the stand and take you on the quick journey. You don't need to worry about all the rust falling out of your brakes. That's weight reduction. It's better for speed. Showed you me putting all this shit together, and then we took it apart again because I got it together and this wheel still didn't turn because the brake caliper has been at the bottom of the ocean. There's no boot left there, so yeah, it's junk. And the local O'Reilly's has these things on hand for $30. For $30 I can put brakes on this truck, especially when you pull a pad off and it looks like that. It's just been deteriorating into chunks. Like, that's basically a fossil at this point. So that's also $30 for a set. So for $100 we can have like a relatively safe truck again. Might as well do it, especially since everything's on hand and I don't have to wait. So we'll go get parts, we'll be back and film putting it back together again. Got the new brakes on. That was nothing too dramatic or exciting, so didn't really seem worth talking about. We did have to grind the fittings a little bit. They got like a shielded brake hose that apparently doesn't fit these aftermarket extended lines, but just a little buzz with the flat wheel, they're good to go. I don't think we really took anything structural out of the caliper, and we're not too concerned if we did. We kept the old rotors because they got plenty of meat left. New pads, new calipers, should be good to go. We'll just bleed them and be doing burnouts hopefully.